All right. I guess that's as wide as we can get on this shot here. Wanted to give you guys a quick update. Also feel really sad for what's going on with the world right now, especially for the people of Ukraine. My thoughts and prayers are for the people of Ukraine, and pray that we get a good outcome. It's looking really bad. But as far as over here locally, in my place, the house continues to have little finishing touches put in, like sofa. My wife was able to pick up a sofa for free. So we now have a sofa. It's a nice, comfy sofa. Pretty big. You can lay down in it, so somebody can nap out here. And it kind of matches. It's not the same material. It's just suede-like stuff. But at least in color, it matches this other thing that was free. So we've got pretty much free furniture in here. This table, this coffee table, was actually something they threw away from work that I grabbed before it went into the trash. It's not going to be the permanent one, but it'll do for now. So at this point right now, I'm kind of closing things out, finishing it up, trying to make it neat. I have replaced the door trim. I don't know if you can see the trim here. It's now big, and I didn't paint it or anything yet, but I took the baseboard trim, I bought some more, and I just sized it and made the door trim. Ended up having to take it all apart. I don't know if you knew there were like particle board here before that they used for some reason. It was all wet and crumbling. So I've replaced it using the framing from the house. You know how they have the cheap wood, the framing? So I've used that and have reframed everything in. So the door is a bit more stable. I think it looks better because it's all complete, not all broken, and it's big. So I did the two doors like that. I did both doors. So I haven't finished with the trim here on the bottom. And so that's done. This slot right here that we've opened up, we'll be getting a refrigerator very soon. So I've got a refrigerator on order. Hopefully we'll get here very soon, and we can get that installed and working. Because once that refrigerator's up, the house is like 90% functional. Right now, without the refrigerator, I can cook, but food-wise, I have to keep going to the RV, and it's a pain. And the RV fridge is really small. So right now I'm cooking. I'm using the toaster oven and making ribs. Doesn't that look delicious? Pork ribs here. Basically just took the ribs, spare ribs, not even spare ribs, but ribs, a cheap one, and cut it into individual bone size ones and coated it with Badia. This is what I used. Badia Complete, my magic seasoning, and minced onion, and then I sprinkled on some Kikkoman soy sauce. Poured soy sauce on it to give it a salty flavor. So this is the toaster oven. I have installed a multi-plug outlet so I can turn it on and off, because this toaster oven is broken. The timer doesn't work, and you can't turn it on and off, obviously. I mean, you can turn it off by turning it all the way. When you turn it on, it doesn't shut off unless you turn it all the way, and then it still might not shut off. So having a switch, I can just flip it on and off. So you got to kind of keep an eye on it when it's cooking. I did take the top. This was the tabletop from that unit over there that I made into a cabinet. Drawers? Not drawers, but shelving to store stuff here. So I took that top and we put it under the toaster oven to keep the countertop from the heat, because this gets hot. So this should keep this from getting discolored from heat. Did visit IKEA yesterday and bought some stuff from IKEA, including a cutting board. And we bought this for the sink. Thought it would fit right into the sink, but it turns out it's actually slightly like 2 or 3 inches bigger than the sink. So we put it on the side one, took out the black one that was there and put the white one there. That way, after you wash the dishes here, you can drain it and it'll run into the sink. So that makes the sink more functional. And those of you with eagle eyes, you might have seen that I have now installed a pure water filter system. Turn it on in normal mode, and as works like normal, but when you flip the switch and you see the green light there blink, that means it's filtering right now. So this water is filtered. And the reason for filtering the water is I'm trying to save money. And also, we're trying to make the house as efficient as possible, even though it's 55 years old, 55 years old. So by getting the water filtration system, I can start filtering water for cooking, for the rice, and instead not have to constantly buy so many bottled waters. So what I will do is save some of these bottles, once we uh, for $5 or $6 worth. That will allow us to basically have filtered water whenever we need for cooking, as well as bottling ourselves using the old plastic bottles. And then, I'll save some that are unopened for guests and stuff like that. But for me, I might use the same bottle for weeks. What else? Still need to put a door on this thing. Haven't put my wife wants doors on here, so I'm probably gonna have to build a cabinet. But for now, I just started to stick, plates and whatnot up there to make the kitchen more usable. What else? Oh, I bought a little, you can see we were at IKEA here. All the other stuff is, I guess, Swedish. I guess it's IKEA Swedish, right? Anyhow, bought this. This is a spice rack. So I'll be mounting it out here where I do my cooking. And that way I can put my badia and whatnot. This section is going to be the primary cooking area. Right now it has a 2-element electric heater and a skillet, I guess. I guess it's called a skillet or a pan. It's also electric, so you can cook here using this. Eventually, if we feel like it, we could end up replacing this tabletop with a gas burner stove, for using propane. We don't really want to use natural gas, even though there's a natural gas line under here. The reason is trying not to have to pay the gas company. Using propane, you're still going to have to go buy propane tanks, but, we'd rather just do that than turning on the service we have to pay every month. But for now, we're using electric, and I actually prefer electric just for the fact that we're generating electricity, at this house. So I can use it for stuff like the TV now. TV now is running off solar. So you can see my little plug that I created over there that brings solar in from the RV solar power system. So I'm using I put in a multi-plug outlet. So you can see the TV is no longer plugged into the outlet here. It's plugged into the multi-plug outlet here. See that behind the wall? And I also plugged the fan in, the ceiling fan. And no, not in the multi-plug outlet, but where the junction is, there's 3 plugs. I plugged in a long extension cord for USB quick charge connector. And that's so long that that's like a 3.1 amp. So it's strong enough to send a signal on that long cable. And I can have that sitting right here on the coffee table, if you want to call that a coffee table, to charge my phone while I'm, web surfing, whatever, while I'm sitting here watching TV. Also, the phone can cast to the TV. So, if there's something I want to cast, like a game or something like that, I could actually cast it and play it on the TV. So not bad. Right now, the system is totally running off, well, not the whole house, but the TV is running totally off solar. And the reason I decided to go ahead and make the switch is because I'm like, well, you know what? I do a lot of TV watching, usually when there's still sun. I don't really watch it too much at night. But during the day, we get free electricity. It's like, why not? So during the day, I'll have it like this and can still leave it like that at night. And if I have to switch, I could just plug it from the house. I could unplug it from that wall. And then I can stick it to this one and it'll go, off gridded power. But better yet, I can just go out to the RV where the generator is. Well, not the solar generator, I'm going to call it that. The solar panels and the power converter, transformer, whatever you want to call it. From 12 volts to 120. I can just go switch that to a power line inside the RV which is probably what I'll do instead of plugging and unplugging. Because when you plug and unplug, you tend to wear out the connections. So I'd rather do it on that end. I may run, the plan is to eventually probably install a secondary solar power system and then run the main power system to another spot back here. So I'm going to have another solar connection because these are all gridded. All these connections are gridded. But I was thinking of making a secondary one for maybe not even there, maybe up to the kitchen area. Maybe, I don't know, somewhere up through the floor and then bring it up, debating on how many holes I want to put in the house. But if I run my own power line, with solar, I might be able to cook using the toaster oven. And if not that, I know I can do the rice cooker. Right now I can do it just by running an extension cord, but it's like going to look kind of bad having the door open with the extension cord and whatnot. So bringing it in would allow me to cook with solar using electricity generated from solar. And the reason for doing that is just like I said, things that I use often, like even this light right now. This light right now is actually on gridded power. But, I don't really need it on. I only have it on for YouTube so that you guys could see better. But during the daytime, there's no real reason to have these lights on. Let me turn them off just to show you. It doesn't really do much. Okay, so that one does this one here. It's pretty bright in here. But I have it on just for additional, I don't know if you can see the light came on. Just for additional lighting for YouTube filming. But during the daytime, we don't have the lights on, but use them at night. And I use gridded power for that. I suppose if I wanted to, once I figure out which circuits control which lights, from the bedroom, there's a circuit box, Once I figure that out, I could potentially wire solar to go into that room and have a second panel with solar and then just switch some of the circuits to, if they just go straight to lights and not the outlets as well. Or even the outlets, if I decide those should all run off solar. So I could easily convert the house to solar without rewiring. Just patch into the power panel. But I really don't want to do too much to change the way the house works. The reason is, when you have a mix of solar and gridded power, the person using it kind of needs to know what's what. If you have a new person coming in, they may not know why certain things didn't work. Like if it's on a solar line and the solar power system is disconnected, of course it's not going to work, And they'll say, why doesn't this circuit work? Well, it doesn't work because you're on solar and solar is off right now. Or you have it on gridded power and we don't have the gridded power turned on. Or you're working on an electrical line, it's solar and it's on. You don't want to get electrocuted. Because even though it's solar generated, it's still electricity and it can fry you. So that's what we're doing right now. Just wanted to give you guys a quick update. What remains to be done? Putting up the shelf. Also have this little thing right here. So I went to IKEA, got all this stuff. Kungsfors. I don't know. So it's all IKEA stuff. This is a metal rod that I'm going to be putting here. Like that. So it's going to come out. And that's meant to hang up like, dish towel rag. And what's cool about it, you can put these little metal hooks on it. So it'll dangle out like an S hook. And with that metal hook hanging on that rod, I could put the mittens, the oven mitts and stuff hanging on that. So we can hang things on the rod. I suppose on their demo in IKEA, they were hanging stuff on the walls. So you could hang pots and pans and all sorts of cool stuff. But we're trying not to hang too many things. I was discussing it with my wife, and we're like, maybe we want a clean look. When you start hanging things, your wall looks kind of cluttered. Some people like that, though, But you can see where I misdrilled. I originally mounted this higher up, and then I ended up, so I'm going to have to fix those holes and repaint, seal those holes and repaint it. But I decided, I'll bring it down lower so it's kind of hidden. So you don't have that power outlet sticking up. But I wanted it up high enough so that you could easily just reach over and turn on and off, So that was done like that. This is also a power switch that can be turned on and off to turn the cookers on and off. So you don't have phantom power, pulling electricity when you're not using it. I was debating about putting this fan, which came from the RV. I bought this from Goodwill a while back for the RV, to use it as like a venting fan to vent smells and stuff out the window. So May or may not leave it here. I had tried to install it in the window. It doesn't fit perfectly, and you have to do weird stuff. So I'm like, that looks kind of ugly. So I'm still debating what to do with it, you know. It turns out that this particular fan unit, it blows towards you. So it doesn't blow away unless, of course, you flip it and have it pointing outside. Then it blows out. So I'm debating. I could just keep it here by the window and just tuck it out of the way somewhere. And then when it's needed, like when I'm cooking over here, I could put it in the window and flip it so that it pulls air out. And that will allow smells and whatnot to blow out of the house. The other option is just to mount it so it blows in and open this door right here. Then it just, you're cooking over in the kitchen. It just blow all that smell and heat and stuff out the back door. I don't know. What do you guys think? Let me know what you think. So, uh, my wife did pick up some cabinet doors, but they're, partial doors, so they don't match, and I don't have enough of them to make all the doors here for this area. So I'm looking at possibly having to make my own. I might be able to pull some of those old cabinet doors and recycle them here as pantry doors. And that's pretty much it. That's all that's been done at this point. Oh, did buy some more stuff here. Another tray liner thingy from IKEA, but they're like giant size. It turns out that IKEA stuff for sink and stuff, look, it doesn't fit. It's like IKEA, I guess their drawers or something is like 2 inches longer than these ones available from Home Depot. So my wife thought it would fit this way. It didn't. So I'm putting it in this way. I did buy a new, this is also from IKEA. See, IKEA. Decided to get a new can opener because the dollar one, the Dollar Tree one keeps breaking. I got one, but I said I'll leave that in the RV and I'll use this other one here. And what else? Bought some interesting ice cube makers because the refrigerator we got, it has a hookup for ice cube maker, but we're not gonna hook it up because there's no water there, and I'm not gonna plumb water for the ice cube, for the refrigerator. We're just gonna keep it simple and we got like a fishy one, so you can have fish or you can have hearts. I also got this is a cutting board. It's a cutting sheet. Okay, it's just a thin little plastic one. I got it because just to have, even though we also bought the wooden one. But I figure if I need a secondary cutting section over here or something, I could do it. And that's all that we got. I think that's it. I did get some clear coat staining, polyurethane stain. And even though the colors of the cabs don't match, we're probably going to go ahead and stain all the wood because my wife says she prefers the wood look. So I'll use the clear coat and stain all that and stain this one even though the colors won't match. And we'll probably just paint this edging here of this pressed wood or whatever it's called with elastomeric white paint just to protect it from any water that might get in and make it look a little bit better. That is about it as far as I know, as far as the kitchen, and creating the new cabinet doors. I do still need to swap this door around because it's opening the wrong way. On this side, it needs to open from this end. The hinge needs to be on this side. I unscrewed it, but it turns out that it's not just straight screws that are in there. They have some kind of metal sleeve that they go into. So I'm like, Well, I'm going to go ahead and unscrew it, and I bought some regular screws. I hope aren't too thick. I'll have to check the thickness because, it can't be thick. The length. It can't be longer than this, which is about half an inch, a little bit over half an inch. So I'm going to move it over to this side with the regular screws, and hopefully it'll hold and not fall apart. That way the doors, they all, on this side, they should all open to the right, to the left. And then we got to put in door handles. So we have some door handles we had saved, but I'm looking and you got to drill pretty thick, so you need a long bolt or something to screw or something to hold it in place. That's something that still needs to be worked on. But the first thing to do is protect that wood. Because, we're using the kitchen now, it takes us water getting on it, and this is unfinished. So it could potentially ruin the wood before we even get started. That's pretty much it. Let me take a moment here to read your comments. Normally it says I was buffering a little. No. Just me says, have we thought about an electric cooktop? Um, we could get an electric cooktop, you know. We were looking at IKEA at the cooktops. They also have them at Home Depot and elsewhere. So they have what I'm talking about is the flat ones, you know, that you actually would cut this. You would cut the counter cabinet, and it's recessed in, you know. Or you can get a whole stove that has it, you know, with the oven and everything. I mean, all you would have to do is you can get rid of this island, or you can cut it, you know, shift the island down and put it in between or whatever. You know, maybe bring the island out to here and have a appliance there, you know. But we're looking at it, and at the future potential upgrade, it's about $650 for one of those things, the cooktop, and whether you get electric or gas. But I was talking to my wife about it, and she prefers gas versus electric. So if we do it, we'll probably go with gas, but we would need the propane one, not natural gas. I used to think that natural gas and propane were the same thing, but they're different. The reason is natural gas is delivered to your house as a gas. Propane is delivered as a liquid, and you know it evaporates, it diffuses or whatever. It becomes a gas when you turn on the valve to spit it out. And you're like, well, what difference does that make? The difference is the burner. They have different size holes. I don't know. One of them's bigger than the other for natural gas versus propane. I think for natural gas, the holes for the burners where the gas comes out is smaller than it is for propane. And that makes a difference because the smaller the hole, you know, the heat won't come out right if you use propane on a natural gas burner. But we may get that in the future. I don't know. You know, I'm pretty much able to cook everything right now with my setup, and this is really simple. And if I need counter space, all I have to do is just tuck it underneath there, and all the appliances done, and this is cleared. The other thing that remains to be gotten is bar stools. You know, I want to get 2 bar stools. Initially, I'm like 4 bar stool and a little bar type table here. But my wife says she's got, you know, furniture in mind already that she can get for free. So I'm gonna let her pick the stuff and see what she gets. You know, free is good. So the refrigerator we got, originally we were gonna get it from like Facebook Marketplace or, you know, someplace used. The issue with getting it used is severalfold. One is that you get a used appliance like a refrigerator, there's no guarantee it works. So you could end up paying money for something, get it to the house, get it all the way in, and the stupid thing doesn't work. And because it's used on Facebook, they won't take it back. The other issue is transportation. You kind of need a truck. You need something big to be able to transport that, which I don't have. So you'd have to rent a truck and try to arrange and coordinate all that. It becomes a pain in the butt. And the final big thing is when you get a used unit, some people live kind of filthy. I don't know. If you guys saw this house, then you know what I'm talking about. This house had dog poo and everything all over it, and you can imagine what the refrigerator looked like. They had food that had been rotted in there, and I'm sure there were probably roaches and stuff. And so buying somebody's used appliances, you got to be careful because you get a refrigerator, it could have roaches and all sorts of other gross, nasty stuff in there. And you bring it to your house that I just, you know, exterminated everything. I haven't seen any bugs in here. I could end up creating a problem for myself. Let's see. Mobank says, wouldn't that interfere with opening the door, hanging stuff there? Not really. I think the towel can hang here. You could open it and it might, but I'm not worried about it. I guess we'll deal with it. I figure, you know, here's the thing about opening this door. The 2 doors under the sink, we're not going to open this that much. You know, I don't know how often you go under your kitchen sink, but under the sink, you can see we took the old leftover flooring to put here in case there's a water leak. So it, you know, somewhat protects the wood because it's not real wood. So we keep bags for trash, you know, Walmart bags. Because even though I have this is I think a 12 or 14 gallon size trash can that I took up from the hut. Remember Hut 1.0 Camp Freedom? That's the same trash can. I spread the Walmart bag across it, so You can see it's got more room in there. Also some trash apparently in there. But this allows me to take this out every day, so we don't keep anything stinky in here. The trash, what I'll do is, like, as soon as I finish cooking or whatever, it's a bag, I tie it up, I take it outside, right outside. There's a trash can right outside the door. Right now I have the big one in here because of still some construction going on, but that trash can is going to go outside. You know, it's only here temporarily. But somebody had suggested putting this here in this slot, which I had thought about. But the problem with that is I kind of like having this here for pots and pans for cooking, you know, my cooking supplies, equipment, so I can just take it in and out. The other thing about it is, you know, you're hiding it, but you're not really hiding the smell. But really, it doesn't smell because as soon as I finish with it, I take it out. You know, like here, I had bags that had the rib drippings. You know, I'll be throwing it away here in a minute so that it doesn't sit here and attract flies or smell. By using the Walmart bags and just taking it outside the door to put it in the big trash can, you know, to prepare it for trash pickup, which they have twice a week over here. We don't have to deal with flies and stuff. You try not to attract bugs and have stinky stuff here. But yeah, this will be mostly just for stuff like this that you don't need that often. You know, I don't even know if we're going to keep everything in there. Like, in those garbage bags, well, that yellow one's for this big one, which won't even be used that much. But the other ones are the contractor bags for, like, the big thing when we were doing construction, getting rid of all the big piles of stuff. So that's pretty much it. I'll look at some more comments here and try to address things. Good afternoon, Elizabeth. Good to see you. Now, Mo Banks says I can stain the other cabinet to match with the other clear coat before clear coating it. Well, if you get colored stain to stain everything, you know, my wife originally wanted dark, but I kind of like the bright kitchen I like the color of this wood. It's light. Originally, I had designed or planned for white, but after, you know, the wood came in and we looked at it and installed it, I was like, you know, that wood looks pretty good. So maybe we'll stain. She wanted to stain it a little bit darker, but I kind of talked her into, we'll just try to get a clear coat, and that way it protects it from the water and it'll keep it light. It's just that this wood is different. It's a different wood. It's a different color. But I'm going to go ahead and stain it. I don't care. Originally, I was like telling my wife I could paint it yellow. Then it matches the wall. Then it looks like, you know, it's built in for the wall. But she says she likes the wood. So we're going to do that. Also, I had looked at something that's kind of interesting. I used, this is shelving from Home Depot. And I think I paid like $11. It's I think 12 inches by 48 inches. I paid $12 for it, 11 something for it. But if you had gotten a thicker one that was meant to be used as a counter, it's like $40 or something. So I saved like $30. I know it's thin and stuff, so it's not that strong. I mean, it's not thick looking, but I got heavy duty braces here, you know, for shelving. I got 3 of them. So these are rated, each of them is rated to hold, like, I don't know if it's 100 pounds. So I don't think you want to sit on this, but, you know, it should be strong enough that you can see I'm kind of pulling down. It's not moving much because it's got 3 of them holding it. And, you know, the main thing you're going to be putting here is probably mail. Just bring in mail or whatever to throw here. And maybe if somebody wants to eat, we have 2 stools, you know, have that cleared. But I don't even know because, you know, it's me and my wife. So I don't know how often we're actually going to use this area to sit and eat or drink. It's probably going to be mostly a junk holder area, you know, to hold stuff. Maybe some flowers or something to make it look nice in here. Let's see here. I think, were you talking about the main door, Timothy? He says gaps at the bottom of the door. I don't know if he's talking about these. There's gaps and stuff. Yeah, certain things will be sealed off. I gotta get a, they have metal ones that go there, metal strips that go there. So I might get that, or I might just go ahead and use plastic ones, you know, the vinyl ones that they sell that we used as a trim there. I don't necessarily use the correct stuff just because if the correct stuff costs $15, if the real one costs $15 and I can pick this up for $1 or $2, I might use the vinyl for $1 or $2. You're like, but the metal will last longer. Yeah, but how often are you going to go through this stuff? How long does this house need to last? So, it just needs to last long enough. And if I have a choice between spending $15 and $2, I think I'll go $2. So I know some people say, man, I always pick the cheapest ones. I have to work within the budget allocated for this project. I'm not trying to build this to be brand new. I'm not trying to build it to be super ultra nice. I just need it to be nicer than it was, and nice enough that I don't get grossed out sitting in here. Saying, oh man, there's poopy everywhere. I want it to be nice enough that I can relax. My wife and I can watch movies, maybe have dinner night, and it's not bad. It doesn't feel bad. I mean, for me right now, the change since the furniture and the paint, everything else, it feels a lot more like home. You know, so already my brain is starting to calm down because when you live in a construction zone, those of you who have ever had to build a house or work on a project while you're living there, it's more difficult than if you totally had the building empty and you could just rip everything apart and do it all and clean it all at once. If you're living in it for whatever reason, like let's say you bought a house and you had to move out of your other one, so you had to live in the new house while you're building it. And some people say, why don't you live in the RV? Well, there were complications that the RV's got all sorts of issues, and it was just easier to live in this house. So the way I did it, and if you watched, then you know what we did. We pretty much had most of the bedroom done. Most of the bedroom, the main bedroom was done so that I could have at least one spot when I shut the door that the house looked done. So, because if you live in an environment where shit's everywhere, construction stuff, boards, nails, glue, paint, everything, it does something to your brain. It's like you just feel frazzled. Oh, I wanted to point out something else. Remember how cheap I am? The old door trim was the 1.5-inch trim that went by the windows, but the window ones were broken and missing. So I took parts. You can see it doesn't look super good, and it's got to be painted and stuff. And it's not like perfect, but you can see how I took a piece from the door and I kind of cut it to fit it in. So I took parts from missing doors and other stuff. So, because it's the 2-inch one or 1.5-inch one, so that way all the windows can be trimmed and they're all going to be painted. So you can see some of it, the connections and stuff are bad on some of them. They're not like very goodly joined, but I don't care. I mean, to make it perfect, you really need to rip out these windows and put in brand new windows. You need to rebuild the whole house. That's not the goal. The goal is stop the water leaks. Try to make it look nice. Like, look at this. I had to cut a triangular piece to fit in this. That's what I did. And then I might put some filler or something in here to smooth it out and so you don't have a gap. But it's what you do when you don't want to spend any money. The budget is the budget. You can increase the budget and get all brand new things, but then I think you're kind of wasting it on a house like this. This is a 54, 55-year-old mobile home. You don't want to sink too much money into it. I looked at insurance and stuff, and insurance would only cover this dwelling unit for like $20,000. That's ridiculous. You could spend more than $20,000 trying to fix this place up. So, looking at how much insurance would cover it for, you got to determine, you know what, we're not going to sink $30,000, $40,000, $50,000. And I don't know how much the new homes, I think they sell for, when I was looking at them, I think an equivalent unit to this is probably about $65,000 to $85,000 new. But I think that insurance coverage on it is still only $20,000, $30,000. They don't cover the full value of a mobile home, at least from what I could tell from researching. Very few companies, because it could be because of my location. I'm in Florida, Hurricane Central, so they don't want to cover them. So you have to weigh that in, and determine how much you want to spend on the house, how much you want to spend fixing it up, and how much you want to pay for insurance. Because unlike a traditional house that normally goes up in value, most mobile homes, they go down in value. You know, I've heard of and seen people selling mobile home units that were in pretty good shape. You know, not the best shape, but better than this one was, for $1,000 or $2,000. And sometimes they give them away for free. They just say, come haul it off. So if you had land somewhere that you could park a mobile home legally, you could probably get a house on there. You know, you could buy let's say a $2,000 mobile home like this one, but you're gonna have to do some work on it and have it, pulled over there and parked. But the towing and setting it up could run you as much as $6,000 to have it towed there, and then the what do they call it for the foundation? It's not really a foundation. They just put like cinder blocks and stuff to level it off. And then, of course, if you're not off grid, you're going to have to pay to have the city electric and water and everything else hooked up. So it could end up costing you $20,000 by the time you get done hooking up your mobile home. But still, if you had the land and you could spend less than $30,000, you could have a nice home there for $30,000. Still cheaper than buying a conventional house. Just keep in mind that mobile home is never going to go really up in value. It's the land that will go up. The mobile home itself more than likely won't be worth that much. This one, now that I fixed it up, if I were going to sell it, I could probably get okay money for it, but it's not anywhere near what I would get if I had a house and was fixed it up and sold it. So, you don't want to spend too much renovating. Guardian Studio says you can't hear me. Can you guys hear me? If the rest of you can hear me, then there's something wrong with your system, Guardian Studio. If nobody can hear me, then I've been blabbering for nothing. Hey, Angus, what do I need to finish the kitchen? Rice cooker. Yeah, I got one rice cooker. I'm missing the second unit. I got it somewhere. I got to find it. I liked my red one. Remember my red rice cooker? I liked that, but it's gone. So I don't know. Honestly, the crazy thing is I don't need anything anymore. It's like, it's weird. When you live in a van and you don't have anything, you don't need anything. Now you move into the house, you're like, I don't need that. I don't need a dishwasher. I don't need a stove. I don't need any of that stuff. It's weird. It's like, it's the reverse, It's like, now I'm trying not to get brainwashed into saying, I got to buy this, I got to buy that. Now, I did need a refrigerator. I don't need it, but it's nice to have it. Okay? I missed the refrigerator. And the reason for missing a refrigerator is money. Even though it's expensive to get on, initially, but it can save you money because you can buy food in bulk, like meats and stuff, and freeze it. You can also open food partially and then put the rest in the refrigerator. It's hard to do that in a vehicle. And even in an RV, I know people say, well, RVs have refrigerators. Well, unless you have one of those ultra-modern RVs that are multi-million-dollar RVs or a couple $100,000 with the giant-sized refrigerators and kitchens, most RV refrigerators, they're small inside. I don't know if it's the liquid or whatever they use to make it cold, how it works, but my refrigerator in the RV was about 4 feet tall by about 2 feet wide. But really, when you open it up, it has like half the space storage that you would think it would have. Like you could barely fit 1 gallon milk jug in there. That would take up a whole two shelf units, and you can't fit any more. You couldn't even fit a 12-liter soda bottle in there. You'd have to lay it down. You can't fit it standing up. That's how tight those refrigerators are. The one we're getting is a scratch and dent that we bought, to save money. So it's brand new, just, had some dings on it. And it still has the year's warranty on it. So we got it, and we'd measured this, and to come up from this side all the way to this door was about 33 inches, 33 inches. But to come up to this light switch is 28. The one we got is 28. So that means we can put it here and not have to block the light switch. Because, this light switch was one I installed to control this light. See? Remember, there was a bunch of crap that came down. And that still needs to be covered up and hidden. Here, you can see I still haven't closed it off because I'm like, well, I have access to wiring, and pulling wires and stuff is kind of a pain. I'm not sure I want to seal it off. I might go ahead and spend a little bit of money. When I was at IKEA, I saw they had a drop down. You can get a drop down light that hangs down. The issue is I don't have a switch, and I'm not gonna pull a line and install another switch. But I was like, if I can get a drop down light, one of those drop down units that hang about this high here, right over my cooking area, and if it has a little pull tassel switch, then I might do that. So I could put it there, then it looks like it's supposed to be there, and it makes the kitchen area when I'm cooking, and I don't want to turn on this main light right here, which is kind of a pain to get to because it's right on this wall. And you're like, that doesn't look like a pain. Well, you can have a refrigerator here, and if you're lazy like me and you're cooking, you might just want to stand there and pull your tassel and have the light on instead of walking across the kitchen, turn this on. I know it's not that big a deal, but we got electric already pulled. Maybe use it. Let's see. Joe wants to know if I have a Habitat for Humanity. There's a Habitat for Humanity not near where I am, but in the same area that's kind of far. And I've been there before, and sometimes they have nice stuff. Sometimes, they have stuff that, but some of their stuff is okay. The issue once again is delivery. It's like trying to get stuff delivered. But the other thing is the Habitat for Humanity here is really far away, probably about 30 miles away from where I am. We decided like on certain things, like the last big thing I really needed was a refrigerator. And honestly, if I need a washer dryer, we might be able to fit it into the car, one of the vehicles. A stove might be able to be fitted in there, but I don't really think I want a whole stove. If we do upgrade to a full cooking system, like I said, we're going to get a propane, and it'll be one of those countertop propane. Basically, you cut the hole just like you did for the sink. So you cut the hole like this. It can fit this. So I could put there's an opening here. See under there? There's an opening because this was designed to be for a sink or even a cooktop, I guess. So I can cut the hole there and put a big, huge gas burner one, and you can put the propane gas underneath. So this whole thing can stay like a kitchen like it is, but have a real kitchen. Or if you wanted one that you wanted to be gas, you could do that and then punch a hole back down. This thing moves because it's not bolted down or anything, and pull up the gas pipe that I had, that came with the house. There's a gas line that runs up to the unit outside, but it's not turned on. You have to contact the city or whatever that runs the gas company. So that's an option. But like I said, I kind of like solar. I mean, not solar. I kind of like electric because I'm trying to start cooking with solar. Because I do most of my cooking before it gets dark. And the more stuff I can switch to solar, the less energy dependent I will be on the city. I'm not wanting to completely go off grid, because I want to be able to run air conditioning and stuff, which takes a lot of power. And my solar power system isn't anywhere near capable of that. But it's capable of running all the lights at night. It's capable of cooking during the daytime. It's capable of running the TV, maybe even the computer systems, during the daytime. So if I load balance and do energy type stuff, like I can, like during the day, if I want it cool and I don't want to use air conditioning, that ceiling fan runs off solar. So I can use free electricity literally. It's not truly free because you had to buy the solar panels, the connections, the cables, the wires, and the battery. That's the expensive part, is the batteries. So, but once you get that all set up, the theory is that cost-wise, it'll pay for itself, like within 1 year or two, and you can use it for at least 10 years, 5-10 years. So, before you have to upgrade. My system I bought used, and I bought cheap batteries, and they're still working. They're 5 years old, 4 or 5 years old, and they're still working fine. It's just not holding as much charge. But I'm thinking of upgrading, getting all new batteries, and maybe increasing the amount of batteries to give myself at least 600 to 800 amp hours. Ideally, I would like 1,000 amp hours. to run this house. If I had a full-blown system, I would want at least 2,000 amp hours, of solar battery storage and 2,000 watts. Right now, I have about 1,000 watts, a little bit less than 1,000 watts of solar panels, and really only about 200 amp hours, 200 to 300 amp hours of battery storage. Scrolling through here, grinding towards my best life. Your sanctuary is looking mighty cozy. So happy for you. Thank you, grinding. Yeah, it feels nice. I sat down on that sofa. Let me show you what it feels like. Oh, this is probably burning. Yeah, so this is cooked now. Doesn't that look delicious? I wish you guys could smell it. It smells really good. So to shut off the unit, I flip it off now, and now it's off and cooking. I mean, it's just gonna cool down. But yeah, this thing's like really nice to sit here. It's like, and then it's even sweeter because it costs zero, other than us hauling it here. But this is what it feels like, and you'll see that we left the living room really big. It's pushed back to line up with the wall, because we had knocked down the wall and moved stuff here. So it's pushed all the way back here. But between the living room, the TV there, and actually that TV can pull out. It's got a one of those arm things, so it can actually pull out and become bigger. Like I can pull it out about another 8 inches or so away from the wall. There's a lot of focus here, but I can pull it out another 8 inches and it'll make the TV look bigger. So I might do that. But right now I have it pressed against the wall. But this living room right here, between here and there, I would say it's probably about, if you go up to the edge here, probably about 16 feet. 16 or 18 feet long. So it's pretty big. It feels big. The only issue is that chair there is kind of it's kind of in an odd spot. But I'm like, well, it's really going to be me and my wife, mostly. So the two of us will probably sit here and watch movies and make out. But, that's for a third person. If they happen to be with us, they can sit there and, I don't know. Just means that the insurance should be replacement, not sure of cost difference. Yeah, that's the issue for mobile homes. It's like they don't want to cover you for replacement, especially older units. Like a lot of the insurance companies, they will not insure your mobile home if it's older than like 10 or 20 years or something like that. So you got to have a mobile home that was made like after the year 2002. I think some of them are even like 2010. It's just like, with the RVs and stuff at RV parks, they don't want you to take an old one there. And the insurance companies, I think they know we saw how poorly this unit was built. And from looking at renovation stuff, I see of other people fixing theirs on YouTube, they're all built like that. I'm like, wow, they built these like crap. So much for quality American work. They do. They literally use broken wood. They use bad stuff. I'm like, why would you do such a... I'm not a carpenter. I'm not an RV dude. I'm not a mobile home guy, but I know I could build one better than them. And that is sad. These people do this for a living. They have the tools. They mass produce it. Maybe they only spend one day building a whole house. I don't know. But I know from working on it now, it's bad. If I had to do everything again, I might do it again knowing what I know now, but I would be very careful what unit I bought, knowing what it looks like underneath. If it looks a little bad outside, on the walls, it's a million times worse than what you're seeing. So knowing that will determine whether or not you want a unit or how much you want to pay for it. Like this house here, if I had to buy it again, I probably would have offered them $1,000 or less for the house in the state that it was in. Now, I wouldn't take $1,000 for this house because obviously I sunk more than $1,000 into it. But knowing is half the battle. And if I had my own land and time, it might be better to build one from scratch, because then if it's bad quality, it's your own bad quality. I know I'm not a professional builder, but I could do a better job than what they did. Let me put it that way. All right. Well, I am going to go ahead and sign out. Go ahead, my ribs. I'll be thinking of you guys as I'm munching those delicious ribs. Thank you all for joining me. I want to thank you all for your continued support and encouragement. I appreciate all of you giving the videos a thumbs up. All of you taking the time to comment. It is appreciated. And hopefully we can get this house done soon enough that I can start to make some more interesting content. Take care, everybody. God bless you all. And if you have a moment, just say a prayer for the people in Ukraine and maybe for the Russians, because from what I understand, but you get your news from whatever sources, but supposedly the Russian people aren't really into the war. They're actually protesting and getting locked up by their own country, So pray that they come up with an acceptable resolution to this and that no more people have to die. I just feel so sad for the people of Ukraine and even the Russians that are protesting their own country and being locked up. So pray for these people. Pray that it doesn't escalate and that it starts to de-escalate. Take care, everybody. God bless you all. Bye-bye now.